We'll start. Let me turn this off. That's fine. Okay, we'll head over to Chris. Go ahead, Chris.
Hi, Jos. Can you hear me all right?
Yeah, got you.
Hello, mate. Thanks for your time. Obviously, back from the break. Are you feeling refreshed and ready to go again?
Yeah, had a good break, and I think it's important to get those as well. So, yeah, really excited for this series. It's great to be back amongst the squad. Always exciting when you meet up with everyone, and looking forward to what should be a great series.
A lot of talk has been about the actual break itself. I know, obviously, Trent Boult came straight back from isolation and played straight away from New Zealand in that second Test match. Where do you stand on that? Do you feel like you needed the break with what's to come?
Yeah, I think so. No, I don't think there's any perfect answers. I think in England we're playing a lot of cricket, more than most, I think, and obviously there's a lot of cricket left this year, and there's some big cricket to come up. So yeah, those breaks were put in there. I think it's important for everyone to be looked after really well. I think ECB do a good job of that. Of course, it's always frustrating to miss games. You wish you're available for everything, but in the current climate with all the complications of COVID and etc., I do think we have to look after our people. So yeah, I'm glad to have had a bit of a break and refresh, and now looking forward to the cricket.
Obviously, it's a huge 6 or 7 months for the team with the World T20 and the Ashes to come, as well as the Test series against India. Have you allowed yourself to look too far ahead, or is it a case of game by game?
Trying not to look too far ahead. Obviously, lots of people do, and it's a hugely exciting time for English cricket with some brilliant challenges ahead, and ones you want to be involved in. But I think it's important not to look too far ahead, especially in professional sport. We know things can change fast, and we've got some big cricket starting on Wednesday as well. So it's really important to take each day and each game and series as it comes, and look after those things. That those long-term goals should look after themselves.
6 matches or 6 T20 matches this summer. How important is it to build some momentum ahead of the World Cup later this year?
Yeah, very important. I think really important to get that sort of side and squad and things nailed down. Role clarity for people and just familiarity of playing together. I think that was, it's going to be a mark of successful teams, the ones that know each other well and are playing good cricket going into the tournament. I think that was something that helped us in the 50-over World Cup, going in confident, having played good cricket. So we need to focus hard on these next few T20s to make sure we put ourselves in as good a position as we can be for when we get to the World T20.
There's been plenty of discussion and chat about where you should bat. You obviously batted at number 4 in a couple of games for Lancashire. Where do you feel you should or want to bat?
I want to open the batting. I think most people do. It's the best place to bat in T20 cricket. I've enjoyed the role when I've done it, and feel like I've had some success doing it. So that's my preference. But at the same time, I'm very open to whatever the team requires, and that's I'm well aware that in certain teams that may be different and change. Depending on certain lineups. So I'm happy to bat anywhere, but my preference is open.
Just a final one from me. Obviously, a big game for you guys on Wednesday, but also a big game for the footballers tomorrow night. Will you be getting together as a squad watching that game? And is football coming home, I guess?
Yeah, no, I'm sure we'll all be watching that tomorrow. There's quite a few keen football fans, so now we can get together in our team room and cheer the boys on. And yeah, of course, football's coming home.
Thanks, mate, and good luck on Wednesday.
Okay, we'll go Rory and then John Etheridge.
Hi, Jos. Just to circle back a little bit, you said that there's no perfect solutions with regard to all this rest and rotation, but that England do play a huge amount of cricket, more than a lot of your rivals. Is it the case that England just play too much cricket, and that the solution is to, ease back on the pedal a little bit and not be in a situation where key players have to miss big games?
Yeah, it's probably a really good question for all the administrators, isn't it? Yeah, I think, in terms of how much cricket we play a hell of a lot, and we understand it's a short career and you want to be available and play as much as you can, but at certain times I don't think it is possible, and I think COVID has complicated that even more with quarantines, bubble environments, simple things like playing in England. It used to be very easy to bring your family in and get out and go home and those things and do normal things that we were very used to doing, but the stresses and strains of the environments you're accustomed to at the moment are different to what it used to be. So now we're playing a lot of cricket. I think I know there's been some criticism from the outside, but I think it's we're in a day and age where you've got to look after people, and I think you have to applaud really the guys for trying to be forward thinking and look after people. Is it perfect? No, of course it's not. I don't think so, but I'd rather we look after our guys.
Just to take the test team for a moment, when you left the test team in Chennai, it was hunky-dory, really. You were three subcontinental test wins in a row. You were flying. It all seemed happy days, really. And since then, it's fallen off a bit of a cliff. How do you judge that, really? I mean, is it not as bad as it looks to sort of lose that home series for the first time in 7 years? Because only 4 or 5 months ago, everything seemed like it was in pretty good shape.
Yeah, I think it's spot on there. I think generally things are never as good as you think they are, and they're never as bad as you think they are. So if you go back, like you say, played 3 fantastic games of cricket there in the subcontinent, and then in some extremely tough conditions, India, who are a formidable force at home, went on to win that series. So I think that's of course, any time you lose at home is disappointing, and proud nation, a proud record at home. I think that's is it Ruti's first series loss at home as well. So that's disappointing whenever you don't play cricket that you're capable of as a side. But I think in the past 18 months, 2 years, there's been some strides made, and I think the side is going in the right direction. Of course, there's some key personnel when playing in those games just gone as well. So I think things are still in a good place. I know it's disappointing, and it's anytime you lose, there's question marks. But I think there's some great things that put in place in the side, and I'm still back everyone who's in that team to have a great summer against India.
Nice one, thanks.
Okay, John, and then Richard Gibson.
Yeah, John, actually, I was going to ask you something along similar lines. I mean, how do you reflect on missing England's last 5 Test matches, probably at a time when you were playing perhaps the best Test cricket of your career?
Yeah, I think like you said, as I've said just now, it's always disappointing when you miss cricket. I think you always want to be available for everything, and like I said, I was feeling in good touch and things are going well, but I retain that confidence that if I get another chance and when that comes, that I'll have learned, and I'm a better player than I was number of years ago, etc. So I think at the same time as well, what's been, I'd say, helpful as a player is to the open discussions that you have with the management, the coaches, the captains, that those rest periods are there because it allows you to fully throw yourself into everything when you are involved. Because I think if there's sort of an endless piece of string that at some point you're going to burn out. So of course it's disappointing to miss games. You want to play everything, but still retain that confidence that you get another chance and be in a good place.
And you would hope to play all 5 against India and all 5 in Australia? Yeah,
that's the dream, isn't it? So, be available and hopefully fingers crossed. So no, I want to play as much as I can.
Okay, Gibbo, and then Stefan.
Hi, Josh. I wasn't going to ask this question, but I will now on the back of what John just said. With Australia coming up, how confident are you as a squad that the families will be allowed to travel with you and be with you at some point on the Ashes trip?
I don't know the answer to that, to be honest. No, COVID's an ever-changing situation, isn't it? and Australia have some quite strict policies. So I don't have an answer for you there because I just don't know.
How would you feel though if you had to tour without your family going? Would that be? I mean, how would you think about that?
Yeah, it'd certainly be a huge challenge. I think, especially when you're accustomed to usually being able to take families with you. So I think it'd be a really tough situation. A lot of the guys have young families as well. So I'm sure that guys would find that tough, and hopefully there's a positive solution to that.
Okay, thank you. Just related to something you said about wanting to open the batting, can you explain why you've been batting at 4 for Lancashire in that situation then, please, recently?
Yeah, just only being available for a few games and the makeup of that particular Lancashire side. Finn Allen's an opening batsman from New Zealand. Liam Livingstone's been opening the batting for a number of years at Lancashire and I haven't played for a long time there. So Glenn Chappell just felt that in that particular team, especially with me leaving, halfway through the tournament, well, before halfway through the tournament, to not disrupt that balance of the side. So that's why I batted in the middle.
And with regard to, obviously, you've been vice captain of the team, where will you bat for England in this series? Will you be back opening?
Yeah, I hope so. I'm sure there'll be, Morgs and Silverwood will be the men who make that decision. I've obviously been opening for England in T20 cricket for a while now. I think it's gone okay, so hopefully can continue in that role.
Thank you.
Okay, Stefan Wilson.
Hi, Jos. You just mentioned that you want to play as many games as possible, and you might be expecting to play in all 5 Test matches against India and against Australia. But from now on, it is wall-to-wall cricket, really, as far as the eye can see. Has anything been mentioned about when you might get another break?
No, not yet. I haven't had those conversations. So I've just come back into. I'm sure those conversations will start soon. And like you say, when you do look a long way ahead, it is in one way quite daunting. So I'm trying not to do that, but it's important to have those conversations. So when that chance comes to discuss that with the management and everyone and the coaches. So, but yeah, I think, as you say, there's no perfect solutions. You want to be available for everything, but is that possible? Don't know until you've had those discussions.
And there's looking like there'll be a scheduling clash between the restarted IPL and England's build up to the T20 World Cup. Ashley Giles has said he expects England players to be playing for England. Where do you expect to be?
Yeah, probably where Ashley Giles says, I'd have thought. So if there's England games on, usually the pocket of the IPL doesn't clash with any international cricket, does it? So it makes it a very easy tournament to be available for when it clashes with international cricket. I think probably the England cricket will take precedent, won't it?
Thanks very much.
Okay, Dean, Ali Martin, and then we'll finish with Martin at News First. Go ahead, Dean.
Yeah, hi, Jos. I just wondered whether one of the lessons about the kind of rest and rotation policy this winter is that if you plan too far in advance, you kind of get undone by what actually happens, i.e. the IPL didn't completely take place and people came home, so the amount of cricket you played was far less than you were expecting to. Is the perhaps the better idea just to be a little bit more suck it and see and see where players are at different points and just be a little bit more flexible about it rather than trying to be almost too clever by half?
Yeah, I guess very. I think the way the world is changing quite quickly at the moment, as you say, I think you do have flexibility. And I don't think that particularly advantageous either. So I think you have to find a balance there. I think we all like to plan, don't we? We'd love to be able to, and if you were just sucking it and seeing going into the biggest year of international cricket that it looks like, you'd probably say that's quite a lack of planning as well. So I think there has to be an element of flexibility, but I think it's very important to try and plan as well. And I guess you get a big cycle of cricket.
And just on this upcoming series, I mean, where do you think the England T20 team is now? Because obviously you've had quite a bit of success, but the aim is to obviously to win that trophy at the end of the year. Do you get the sense that you've got the same amount of quality and the same chance of success as you did in the 50 over tournament?
Yeah, I'm very excited. What is? I think if the growing experience within the team, exposure to big tournaments, guys playing in the Big Bash, the IPL. I think, to name names, I think Sam Curran is one of the really obvious ones. You see that trajectory of where his cricket's going is so exciting. In the last couple of years, in the IPL tournament is one of those names that you look out for and is seriously exciting. So have guys like that in our team with the trajectory of improvement that they've showing in their cricket is fantastic. And I think we've got some other proven performers in our side who are pretty much coming into the peak years of their career. So it's an exciting place to be as a team. But we want to be winning games of cricket, and our ultimate aim is to win the T20 World Cup. But we're aware there's some other good sides who are good players as well who've got the same ambitions as us.
Okay, Ali mine, and then Martin from News First to finish. So go ahead, Ali.
Hi, Jos. I was just wondering if you could just sort of explain how it worked in terms of mapping out the first half of your year. Is it a case of England saying this is where we want you at a particular time, or is it a case of you putting a preference forward in terms of format? Because just looking at it on the face of it, probably the Test team is the team that needs a bit of nurturing right now, and the one-day team is one that's has gone pretty well for a good while now. So I'm just wondering how that actually works, how those conversations work.
Yeah, just an open discussion with the player and the management and all the coaches looking forward to the year. So I don't think there's any preference for any formats at the moment, to be honest. So I think that's just you're trying to work it out as however your year looks and however it pans out. Obviously, the guys who play in the IPL, that's an added load of cricket as well. So it's just an open conversation.
And do you sort of feel like you probably Test cricket's the format that you need the most work in? Because I'm just looking at the sort of T20 series that you had in India. I mean, you're an IPL veteran, you're a sort of white ball superstar, but maybe Test is where your game is still in need of a bit more improvement. Is that a fair assumption?
Yeah, probably a fair assumption. I think naturally I'm a better white ball player than I am a red ball player. So, but you take. Yeah, I want to be the best cricketer I can be in all formats. So, it's just really what the answer is to the question. But in terms of my own ambitions, I want to be the best player I can be, no matter what colour the ball is.
Cracking, thank you.
Okay, last one, Martin from News First.
All right, hi, Jos. This is Martin from News First Sri Lanka. From a Sri Lanka standpoint, now they have come up with a new setup. The players likes of Angelo Matthews, Dimuth Karunaratne, and Lasith Malinga are not playing in the T20 squad. Obviously, you must have done your plannings already. Who are the players from a Sri Lankan contingent standpoint do you think could pose a threat to the English team during the upcoming limited over series?
I think Sri Lanka are always producing exciting cricketers. I know Kuso Pereira's been around for a little while, but I always see him as a dangerous player to play against, someone very attacking who can take the game away from you. And I think someone I've not seen as much of, but I've heard is a really exciting player is the leg spinning all-rounder Hasaranga. So he played one of the first tests, I think, in the winter, and I know he's highly talked of. I remember Mickey Arthur saying he was very excited about him as a player. So there's two names for you, but I'm sure there's a very talented squad.
Talking about an overall perspective, you've been playing cricket all around the world. Now, Sri Lanka cricket team is not the same as it used to be compared to the few years that you must have started, must have seen Sri Lanka cricketers playing. Where do you kind of, rate yourself, rate Sri Lanka cricket from a kind of your perspective, being an overseas sportsman?
I always think Sri Lankan cricket's strong. I think anytime you lose players such as Mahela Jayawardene and Kumar Sangakkara, that's incredibly difficult guys to replace. Obviously, Malinga, you've had some superstars of the game really who've gone out the game in recent times, and of course, it takes time to find those next ones and then to become that standard of player. So I think Sri Lankan cricket always has exciting, talented players, very dangerous side to play against. So we're expecting a really tough challenge and some great cricket in this upcoming month.
Okay, we're done. Thanks very much, everyone. See you soon. Bye-bye.